here we go. Oh, so I literally just came from my healer. I had well, it was raining all day, so I didn't go in the morning. So now I went in the evening, and like, oh, hold on a second, wait. Gotta put my Muti bag on. So I just figured before I take a wash, before I cook my evening meal. We just got gas back in today. It's a long story anyway, so I can cook tonight. There we go. See, gotta put my Muti bag on. Anyway, this came from, forget all that stuff. Look, it's a Thursday, which means it's an audio drama day. I got some things to say. Which is different than being a Friday, which is a week wrap-up day. What I missed during whatever. And Saturdays is whatever comes to my head. This Saturday is my wife's birthday. Maybe I'll talk about her. She don't like me talking about her, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sunday is a reading day. I'm reading Tagore because we're in India, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Monday is a me day. Tuesday is a U.S. politics or U.S. day. And Wednesday is a world day. So we're on Thursday, which is my favorite day because it's audio drama day. Okay, let me tell you. For this one here, let me just explain. One of the things I tell when I'm doing an audio drama workshop, and I tell folks, I said, look, we write in what's called the objective point of view, right? Which means that there's only dialogue, there's no narration. Now the reason we do this is because, well, you write dialogue, then then you write dialogue. It means you're a playwright, basically. If you do narration in there, then you're a playwright with now. Well, then you have dialogue with narration, and then if you have dialogue with narration, well, then you might as well then also give long descriptive passages, which would make you a what? That's what I'm saying, a popular novelist. Because what's a popular novel? But dialogue with long descriptive passages. And then if you can write dialogue and forget the descriptive passages, then you get together with a friend and you can write storyboards, right? Then you're basically a film writer, a script writer, right? So you're a playwright, you're audio dramatist, you're a playwright, you're a popular novelist. All that stuff is all in there. It's like what it is, right? Now, so doing all that. So what I'm trying to say is that right now in my head, I'm thinking of like, hey, I got my overwhelming thing. I know we're 5 months ahead of time because we're in April, May, June, July, August, September. I got to be in Ethiopia because there's a reparations conference, gathering, whatever you want to call it. So I got to be there. Why do I have to be there? Because I said I got to be there. That's why I had to be there. Oh, whoa, come on, back down. The helicopter's going back up. But I'm planning because I don't I'm going to be there hanging out with people, I guess, people that's the same mind. But I want to throw some proposals out there and stuff like that. Now, since we're in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, it's the head of where the African Union is, and the conference is spearheaded thought up by CARICOM, the Caribbean organization, and African Union, the African organization. They're coming together. So I get on reparations. So if you're going to say reparations, then you got to have the rest of the diaspora around. You see, so I'll be there. But while I'm there, one of the things I'm going to try to do is talk to some people and say, look, I have an idea, right? And here's where audio drama comes in. Let me explain this. Now, since there'll be a lot of French-speaking countries there, well, I'm interested in the Sahels right now, the Sahel area, Mali, and Niger, and Burkina Faso, that kind of thing, because they're making sure Africa unites, and by Africa uniting, also the diaspora is going to be uniting. So this is going to be a momentous occasion. Look, here's what you do. Everybody, look. Take 5 months off from drinking and partying and whatever it is. Take 5 months off from whatever distractions you usually do, right? Start squirreling money away. Somewhere in the second month or the third month, when you know you're in a good momentum, then contact contact the African Union, whatever they can have this hotel at, or whatever have you, and register for the conference and get to Ethiopia, to Addis Ababa, in September. I think it starts September the 7th, right? Be there like a couple of days before so you can get the atmosphere, and make sure you book yourself so you can be like a few days after, so when you make friends, you don't have to just jet off. You see what I'm saying? Just do that, right? I plan to be there at least 5 days before and at least a week afterwards. That's my plan. You don't have to do my plan, do your plan. But here's the thing. One thing I'm saying, look, France, what do I know about France? I don't know too much about, well, I've been there one time. I was in Paris one time. They have a really good section for falafel. The Moroccans had this thing in Paris. They had they do this fantastic, the best falafel I ever had on the planet. Yeah, forget that part. So here's what I'm going to say. It's like, hey, I know about France. That's Alexandre Dumas. You know, who hung out with the Shelley people and with with those kind of those degenerates. I'm sorry, I should say I didn't mean that. With those writers back then. You know, he's because he's a brother. You know, I mean, you gotta have a brother in your crowd. If you have any creativity, you gotta have a brother in your crowd. Let's put it that way. You know. So anyway, hanging out with Shelley and all them people like that. Okay. But he wrote the Three Musketeers. But more importantly than that, before I get to that, he wrote the Three Musketeers. So here's what we need to do. Right now on Broadway, I hear, right, Denzel is doing with Jake Gyllenhaal doing a version of Othello that's updated to like I guess the Iraq whatever war is going on. It's not set back when the Othello time, or the Elizabethan times, right? It's updated to like these times, right? So that gives me an idea. I can go to those folks and say, "Hey, let's do an audio drama competition." Well, I mean, we go back to the audio drama competition, and what you do is you do an audio drama around the Three Musketeers, right? And you're making an audio drama, right? Now, like I said, if you're making an audio drama, you're actually making it a play. You know what I mean? You're actually making it a screenplay. It's all those things in one, right? And an updated version. And, your Three Musketeers would be, you guessed it. You're way ahead of me. You all are really smart, The head of Burkina Faso, the head of Niger, the head of Mali, the current head. Those are your Three Musketeers. The D'Artagnan would be, I don't know, name of D'Artagnan. Maybe it would be Pierre Lumumba. I don't know. Somebody, No, it's got to be somebody who's actually a military person. Who would that be? I don't know. We got to figure out somebody that's a military person that's more dynamic, that could be a mentor to them. Maybe a retired guy. I don't know, but what's his name is passed on. Anyway, you got to figure that out yourself, right? So that's the update of Three Musketeers. But this is more important. Now, you make it a competition, like all the French-speaking people, anybody. You make this Three Musketeers, because, Alexandre Dumas was, known throughout the English-speaking world and the French-speaking world and the world, right? And there's been so many different things. Because you make about these three guys, right? But here's the more important thing. They make like a competition. So they make for like different grade levels, like because they teach them in younger grades, right? So you have the under 13-year-olds would have a competition. The 13 to 40-year-olds would have a competition, and then what's the name is he's 37 now. The 13 to 35-year-olds, and then the 35 and above, right? There's three different kind of things, right? Now, the other thing, hey, how you doing? I'm suggesting a Three Musketeer thing. Hey, you can even have an Indian thing. This is an Indian person. You can have an Indian thing, right? The Three Musketeers for India. I don't know how you do that, but you do that, right? Now, but here's the more important part. Now, as they're doing that, as you have this competition, as you have all these strategists writing the new version of Three Musketeers, our focus is going to be the Sahel people, right? But you can make, right? You understand what I'm saying? But now, what's really more interesting to me, is that Alexandre Dumas' daddy who had more melanin in his skin than Alexander did, because his daddy did don't worry about that one. So his daddy had a more interesting life than Alexander's heroes, or Alexander's what do you call it? Subjects in his books, his protagonists and his antagonists. Well, Alexandre Dumas' daddy was even badder than any of the protagonists and the antagonists in Alexandre Dumas' novels and whatever he was doing, right? So now you can have another set, like a prequel. That's what I want to say, a prequel, where before Alexander was born, like how covered his daddy's life. There's supposed to be I'm not going to read it. There's supposed to be a book on him, right? So now you got, hey, you put this all the schools, all the French speaking, all of Mali and the Burkina Faso and all the Senegalese and all the French speaking schools. You put them in there, and they have a competition and all those things. That's what I'm gonna put up. That's what I'm gonna propose. Somehow, I'll slide that idea around the conference. Say, hey, we should have a competition. Hey, we should have a competition. And maybe there'll be a space for, like, because there'll be a lot of motions and whatever they're doing, proposals and stuff like that. But they'll all be officials, there'll be academics, putting their papers in there, and they'll be like real serious. And here's what we should do: reparations. Yeah. I'm talking about on the cultural tip. We can be doing some other stuff, including competitions. And of course, I got to put my whole thing about how we can use audio drama as a way for literacy, and this will be across the board. I got to write that up. I don't want to write it. Well, I have to write it up, So I got 5 months to do this stuff, right? A bunch of other stuff. So that's my suggestion. An update on the Three Musketeers involving Captain Ibrahim Traore. What's the cat's name from Sibi Gota? That's my guy from Mali. And the other guy that just got elected for 5 years as the as the president of Niger. What's his name? I write everything down. Well, I don't write everything down, but I write stuff down. He's got that long Muslim name, man. So I gotta find out where I wrote that thing down. Well, anyway, you know who I'm talking about, right? The general. Well, now there's two generals. You know what I'm talking about. I'm stalling because I don't want to leave you all out without giving his name, because that's just the way I is. I'll be stuck on that all the time. Oh, I can just write it in the notes. Yeah, okay, that's what I do. I write it in the notes. Because that's the wonderful thing about the internet, right? If I say something wrong or incorrect, or I can correct myself, talking direct in the camera, because I don't write. There's no script when I be riffing with you guys, right? You guys, I'm talking internet talk. I be riffing. There's no script, but I can now go into the into the notes, into the comment section, and write down the names of everybody that, all the three people I'm talking about. You see, that works out there. Here it is. Tiknani, Abdullah Rahman Tiknani. So I'm gonna write all their names in the thing. The update of the Three Musketeers, featuring real life Three Musketeers. One for all for one. One for all, and all for one Africa.